Ooh. Hello everyone, my
Hi
name is
guys.
Igal, this is Maor.
Hi guys. What's up?
We are going to start again our weekly dropshipping news live event here, live session in Facebook. We'll wait a few moments for more people to join and then we'll officially start. Here I already see some people joining in, so that's great. What we're going to do today, as always, is we have some topics that we already have in mind that we were hearing in the last couple of days and weeks. We'll discuss that. You'll be invited to ask us some questions, some related questions, or anything else that you might have regarding some changes or some news in the dropshipping world. And it can be eBay questions, Amazon questions, Shopify, anything that has to do with dropshipping, retail arbitrage, so on, so forth. So without further ado, Maor, let's start.
Yeah, and I want to apologize in advance because my voice is a little bit weak this time. I lost my voice a little bit sick, but I'm sure that you guys will enjoy it anyway. So if you can't hear us or if there are difficulties with the voice or something like that, let us know because I know that last time we had an issue with you hearing us. So let us know if you can hear us well. Just wave or write that you can hear us well, and we can wait for more people to join and we can start.
Perfect, perfect, okay. We'll talk today about a few interesting topics, some things that might be very technical, but they're very important for people who are doing dropshipping as businesses. Because sometimes we lose track and we don't really see where our money is coming from and maybe how the fees are structured in any place that we're interacting with, whether it's Amazon, eBay, PayPal, other platforms. So Maor has a lot of insights, a lot of experience with that, and he'll share that with us. Okay, do you think we can start now or do we wait?
Let's go ahead and start. I see that a lot of people are joined, and we can definitely start this session.
Okay, perfect. So today I want to start with eBay invoice. We wanted to talk a little bit about what is it, why is it important, what it consists of. So let's begin.
Okay, I'm gonna talk about eBay invoice and I'm also gonna say a few words about Amazon invoice because people don't know exactly where they can take the invoice from or what should they do with it. So let's talk about it in general. And I'm just gonna say in advance that since we are not accountants, that this is only a recommendation for you guys to at least understand the structure of the invoice and the way it appears on the account. So in general, eBay provides invoices to any of the business users. I mean, guys that are selling in the platform on a monthly basis. And some of the invoices appears on the account from the first of the month, and some of the invoices appears on the account on the 15th of the month. And there is no way for us to influence about that. So that means that once your account has been actually created, eBay decides exactly what is the date that they are supposed to provide you with the invoices. So mainly there are two occasions where will you receive the invoice. So as mentioned, the first of the month and the 15th. If you are receiving the first of the month, that means that eBay usually takes like from the last 15 of the other month. So let's say that I'm gonna give it as an example. So let's say that I started in the 1st of January and eBay decided to provide me with the invoice on the 1st of February. So usually what I will see the last 30 days of activity plus 2 weeks of eBay giving me as a grace. So that means that usually if I started at the 1st of January, the first invoice that I will probably see will be in the 15th. And if I started somewhere near the 15th, then usually I will see the last 30 days from 1st of the month to the 1st of the month. And it's very easy for you to understand exactly what is the time period because it appears on the invoice and you can take a look at that. And what is most important is what exactly I'm seeing in the invoice when I'm reading it. So the first thing that I should know is that I will probably see the subscription. So if I registered to one of the store plans, and there are a few plans that you guys are probably familiar with. So and lately they even like a year ago they even added more plans. So the first plan is what they call starter plan. It's supposed to be a plan for guys that just started their way on eBay and decided to open a store. The second one is a basic store, a premium store, and core store, and there is even an enterprise edition of the subscription
For 100,000 listings.
Yeah, 100,000 listings. Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, that's huge. With a yearly commitment, by the way, for the biggest eBay subscription. So mainly I will see the subscription plans, and what you should know about the subscription plans. Once I decided to go and open a store, the fee can be deducted always monthly, but it really depends on if I want to make a commitment. So the way that eBay decides how much money I will probably pay, for the subscription, it really depends on if I want to commit to just 1 month. That means that every month I can just decide to cancel my subscription, and the second is of course yearly. And if I decide to go yearly, that means that I will still pay every month for the subscription, but still they will give me a small discount, which is always recommended if you guys are willing to commit for 1 year. Now, what else you should know, that even if you committed to 1 year, that doesn't mean that you don't have a break point where you can just stop your subscription and just leave. So every quarter you have a break point, and if you try to end your subscription, it will tell you when exactly will be the end point of the subscription.
Without any extra fee or fine for ending it early?
Exactly. Now, even if you decided to go and just if you decided to cancel the subscription by any chance before it's supposed to be ended, and they decided to take any fee from that, so you should call eBay and try to always negotiate it.
Yeah.
It doesn't it won't be easy, but at least you know that you try to do something, and sometimes it's worth the while because you can break the subscription earlier and don't pay any fee regarding that.
Yeah, I think, I had many instances where I had a store and then for some reason I closed it for maybe I had a violation that made me wait for 30 days and I didn't need the store subscriptions for such a long time, but I was committed to 1 year. So I called them, explained them that, listen, it doesn't make sense that I still pay for the subscription that I don't need, where when you do not allow me, I'm sorry for the camera by the way, when you do not allow me to use this for me. And usually maybe not the first, maybe not the second call, but the third call, I promise you that somebody will say, okay, you know what, let's leave the fees and you don't have to pay a fine. So it's always good to negotiate, and it really helps, it really works.
Okay, the last thing you should know about the store subscription is that when you decided to go on the yearly basis, it means that eBay will deduct a couple of months in advance. So that means on the first subscription that you do, let's say that we took like the basic store, and just for the example, it's cost like $20, okay, or $25. I'm not sure exactly what exactly current are the current price, but that means that if you decided to go on the yearly plan, they will deduct the first 2 months. So that means that on the first invoice that you will see from eBay, you will see a double price on the account. This is because they charge like the last couple of months. This is how they like the first month that you started it and the last month that you are supposed to end it. Okay. So subscription usually appears on the summary page, and once you will see it on the summary page, you will understand exactly how much you pay for the subscription. And also, what is also important to understand, sometimes I know that people usually guys that just started their ways, they usually do all kinds of mistakes, such as subscribe to other things that eBay has to offer, and it's cost more money than what you should pay. But this is a full section on the invoice. You should always take a look at it, understand exactly on what you are paying for, and this is one of the most important things. Now, the second thing that you will probably see on the invoice is a summary of how much final value fee you paid. So the final value fee is the fee that you pay after you sold an item, and only after you sold it. Now, the final value fee, if you don't have a store subscription, it's a fixed fee of 10% that you pay. And if you go with a subscription plan, it really depends on the category that you are selling on. So many people don't know, and they always think that the percentage of the fee is 9 or 9.5, and sometimes it changes. eBay changed the amount of fee that we are paying, but it really depends on the category. So if I'm selling, for example, electronics, I'm paying 6% fee. If I'm selling, I don't know, like video games, I can even go lower as 4.5.
I think guitar or bass guitar, something like that, also very cheap.
Exactly. So people don't know that, but this is actually one of the ways for you guys to make more profit, because that means that our break even is lower than expected, and that means that we are paying less fees.
I want to point out regarding these two little things that, maybe for someone who is just beginning, just starting out, it doesn't seem like a lot of difference, like 3% more, 3% less. But once you start to make a big sales volume, it makes all the difference in the world. Especially if you combine that, if you remember in our last video, we talked about cashback sites. In cashback sites, usually they don't have for store-wide percentages. Usually they will give you like 7, 8, maybe 10 categories in which you have a nice cashback, like 7%. So imagine if you find both a cashback of 7% for a category, and also in eBay it's like 4 or 6%. So you're getting like a very, very substantial discount, and you become much more competitive. Also, if you plan it ahead, you can say, okay, I know I will get the cashback on this item. That means that I can even price it lower, still be profitable, and have more sales, because nobody else will actually price that item that way. So that's a big advantage here.
Okay, so as mentioned on the first page, I only see a summary, but if I will go and scroll down, I will see each and every transaction and understand exactly how much fees I had to pay eBay for the sale. Okay, so what else you should know regarding that is that once I'm doing a cancellation of an order, even if it was from a return, even if it was from just cancel the order for not purchasing the product on our source or something like that, so you should be receiving a credit for the transaction, because once an item has been sold, eBay automatically register the transaction on the fees, and that means that if you don't ask for the fees back, they will probably charge you.
Yeah.
So today the mechanism works better. In the old days, we were going to each and every transaction and checking that we actually received the fees back. But today, once I'm doing a cancellation, usually they automatically do the credit. So on the summary page, you will also see credits. Now, the credit really depends on the period of time of the invoice. So let's say that my invoice was from the 15 till the 15, and then I received the invoice on the 1st of the month. That means that if I had a cancellation or a return in the last couple of weeks time period, that means that it won't be reflected on the invoice, and I will probably won't see it. So what you should do always is to always follow and see exactly that you received the fees back. Now, one more thing that you will probably see on the invoice is that if I did some kind of a promotion, so if I use the promoted listings, if I used anything that is related to promotion, then I will see it also reflected on the invoice. So in general, what you will always see there all your expenses, everything that you had that you had to pay eBay for making the sale, and everything that is related to that. And last and not least, and this is something very important, people usually don't pay attention to that, but this is very important, which is the insertion fees. So today, in regards to what I just spoke about, the store plans, so every store plan comes with a free credits on how many items I can list on eBay. So if I have like a basic store or a core store or premium store, it really gives us a different variety of number of credits that I can use. So usually, if I exceed those credits, then I will see insertion fees. Or if I use to upgrade, if I use, let's say, a subtitle, which I never recommend, or a second category or something like that to upgrade my listing, I will also see it in the insertion fees. And if I give you like a pointer or something that you should always check, you should always look to see that this criteria doesn't exist at all, or it's on zero. Because I truly believe that in our fields, like retail arbitrage, usually you shouldn't see any of the insertion fees if you work properly.
Mm-hmm. So basically you just make sure that you are in the right subscription of the store. If you have 7,000 items, you're not on a premium store, not on a basic store, obviously, because it just doesn't make sense. If you're on a have just 100 listings, you won't have like a premium store or an or store, stuff like that.
Yeah, maybe Yigal, I think that maybe you should try to explain to those guys that maybe you want to jump to the next store subscription. When is the right period of time to jump between subscriptions?
Okay, so that's a good question, because it depends on a lot of factors, but basically you just can make a calculation of when you pay more for the current subscription than just going to the next one. Because let's say in a basic store, before you just have any store, you have usually 100 free listings, right? It's the case for new accounts, for new sellers.
50. Yeah.
It's now 50. Okay. So this usually doesn't make sense to put yourself in a store subscription. But as we said before, because stores have this variable fee, final value fee, maybe even earlier than reaching 50 or 100 or 200 items, you would want to consider actually having a store. And then if you have a basic store and you're already selling some, having some items in the air, you have to make a calculation. Okay, so I have this amount free. This is the fixed cost that I have to pay, And then these are the extra items that I'm paying an insertion fee for. Okay, that's my current plan. Now let's see what the next plan offers me. Here's the fixed fee, here's how many free items I can put, and here's the insertion fee for the next item. So usually this larger store subscription will have enough of free insertion fees. So what you have to just count is the fixed cost of the subscription. If it is if it is less than you're paying for your fixed subscription and the extra items right now, then it means that you should go to this next subscription. Does this make sense?
Yeah, I'm just gonna give you a few pointers. People always ask me when is the right time to open a store. So as an entrepreneur and a guy that truly believes in just moving forward as fast as you can, so I truly believe that as long as you decide that this is your business and this is what you want to deal with, then you should just go and register at least the starter plan. And when you go above 100, you should think about maybe moving to a basic store. But I know that people are mainly moving to basic store only when they reach somewhere in between 150, 160. But I think this is small money if you just go fast.
Yeah.
And I know that people usually does the calculation, and it's around 400 or 500 to move to the premium store. But I can tell you guys again, just as a point of, if you have a 400 or a 500 and you didn't move to the premium store, then you should probably start considering it. And around 3,000, 3,500, that makes more sense to move to the core store.
Yeah. And also, well, there's two things to remember here. First of all, be careful. Like if you are starting to put items in a very, very high pace, very fast pace, then eBay can say, hey, wait a minute, let's see that you're knowing what you're doing, that you're not putting items that are zero and stuff like that. So be careful with that, do that gradually. But then on the other side is, let's say I have a basic store right now, and I know what I pay, and I'm trying to be inside this kind of plan, so I won't have to pay extra for insertion fees. It doesn't motivate me to put more items and to develop my store and to bring in finally more sales. But then if I know that I'm going to continue with it for the long run, I can go ahead and even do a yearly subscription for a higher store plan, so that it gives me the motivation to put more items, because I know I'm wasting money if I'm not doing it. And why not put those items if I'm getting them basically for free to put them? That's my point here. Sometimes I even start, when I used to open like many stores, I would start with the Encore store subscription just to make myself like commit. Okay, I'm going to put an Encore store. I got to put like at least 150 items per day for it to be good for me, for it to make sense for me financially.
Yeah, I think that the store utilization is very important, and I think that people don't utilize the free credits that they get for the listings. They should do that. It's more optimizing your store. Because I always give as an example, think about a store that has a lot of shelves and you just don't put any inventory in it. So it's a waste of space, or resources in this case. So basically you should always utilize your resources.
Yeah.
Now, just to complete that, you can always find your invoice if you click on My eBay and click on Account, and then on the right side you will probably see all the invoices that you paid eBay for the last I think 12 months. And the last thing that I want to say regarding this is that sometimes I see people that are opening their eBay store in different arenas, such as France, Germany, other eBay marketplaces, And then what usually happens when they do that, first the selling limits is of course in the local currency, and second the invoice is in the local currency. Now this is very bad for you guys, because if you didn't change the invoice currency, then what will probably happen is that when you pay final value fee, or any fee, eBay will just convert the price, and that means a pure loss of your money. So it's very recommended that if you decided to take a store that you opened, let's say in .com, and you moved it into France or UK or whatever place with a different currency, then you should always change your invoice currency. This is also something that is very important, and not many people know exactly how to do that.
That's a good point. I want to add like a little bit more regarding the fees and stuff like that. If you go to your dashboard, you will have a seller dashboard if you have a store subscription, and even without, I think now they have it. You have the sales panel, right? If you click on the sales, it will bring you to a page with much more information. You can see there the PayPal fees, the eBay subscription, everything in a very nice and a very easy to understand way. And then it's a good place to diagnose problems. Let's say you have like good sales, but you're feeling that you're not profiting enough, something is wrong. And that's a great place to start, because there you will see how much the fees are from the whole sales volume. And you can see, okay, maybe I paid too much for a subscription. Maybe there are many returns that I didn't get my money back on, and stuff like that. So that's a very, very good place to troubleshoot and to diagnose any problems you have.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last tip, and this is a huge tip, so I think that you should listen very carefully to what I have to say. So this is something that I hear a lot. Many people always say, listen, I really want to move to the next store subscription, but I don't have enough limits. Now, for you guys that don't have enough limits, this is a huge tip for you guys. So I noticed that eBay has an API. That means that they have a connection or a partnership with Shopify. And let's say that you connect your eBay store into Shopify, you have a way to import all your items from eBay to Shopify. Now,
from Shopify to eBay, from eBay to Shopify?
From eBay to Shopify, which is very cool, because you can take like your full store and you can import it into Shopify. Now, the last guys that actually did what I just told you on other Europe arenas in France, Germany, UK, and I never tried it on the US arena. Actually, what happened, instantly eBay increased the selling limits into unlimited.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I didn't know that.
This is a huge tip. So, and this is very exclusive for you guys. So keep in mind that this is something that you can try. And also maybe it will give you the push to try your Shopify store, which is always something that is recommended.
Wow, so wait, I didn't know that. So
Yeah.
if you're having an eBay account and you have some stuff there, and you now open a Shopify store, which is pretty cheap, it's like $30 a month, and you use eBay's API, what is it? It's like an app inside eBay?
Yeah, it's an app. Well, there are two ways to get it. It's one of them. It's an app inside eBay, and second, it's a tool inside Shopify.
I see. And then you connect between the two, and once you import the items from eBay to Shopify, eBay recognizes that and puts your limits to unlimited?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. So anyway, I think that we covered enough everything that is related to eBay invoice, but we didn't spoke about, and we're gonna just touch it in just a short sentence. So regarding Amazon invoice, so once I open the seller account under Amazon, um, instantly I will need to pay Amazon for the
Wow.
subscription. So on Amazon, in regards, it's very simple. There is no selling limits, but there are categories that are not allowed. So that means that in general, you won't have the issue of how many items are you are about to sell on Amazon, but you will have issues with the categories that you are trying to list items. So the Amazon invoice for just subscribing a new seller is $39.99 per month, and this is regardless to even if you just placed even one item or didn't place any items at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that this is very irritating for guys that just starting the ways, because for example, if I started a new seller account on Amazon, the first thing that they will try to ask me is to provide them with all the business details that I have and everything that is related to business. Now sometimes they don't accept it instantly, and I already started to pay for the subscription.
Yeah.
But again, this is part of the investment in this business, so don't pay much attention regarding this. And and what else I have to say? So regarding the Amazon invoice, it really depends on the campaigns that you ran, and also, of course, the fees that you had to pay on the sale. And if you used Amazon FBA and you needed to pay fees, I hope not, because that means that you are underperforming with the FBA items.
Yeah, the fines and when you're storing too much and not moving stock.
Exactly.
Mhm.
Okay, so basically this is the way that Amazon provided with the invoices. If you guys want me to explain better about Amazon invoice, let me know and I can take it forward.
Okay, so we have two more big subjects to talk about, especially the last one, but let's talk now about something new in PayPal, which is kind of the PayPal Insights.
Yeah.
Right.
So PayPal created, I think, one of the most exciting tools that they ever did in the last years. So for the last couple of years, it's actually something that is activated on US PayPal accounts for the last couple of years, and now they started to gradually roll out for the PayPal International. So what I'm talking about is called PayPal Insights. So if you go into your PayPal account and you click on Reports, so the first tab on the left side should be Insights. Now, I know that we have guys from all around the world, so I'm not sure exactly how it looks like on Moroccan PayPal, French PayPal, UK PayPal. It could be different. But anyway, they started to roll out for all the PayPal accounts all over the world. And I'm guessing that if you don't have this feature yet, then you will probably have it very soon. Now, what you will see in this feature, which is crazy amount of data, is actually how many transactions you generated with PayPal. And not just that, you will also see the exactly amount of items, revenues that you actually generated, but from each location. So let's say that I'm an international seller and I want to know exactly where my money comes from. So if I will probably click on Insights, the first thing that I will see on the Insights is the top 10 countries that are starting to make purchases for me. And for you guys that are doing Shopify and using PayPal as a payment method, this is a very vital information, because it could help you probably targeting your customers better. And for you guys that are doing only eBay, this is also something that is important, because sometimes you want to understand, and this is the last topic when we talk about it, you will understand exactly what I mean. But if you are starting to sell internationally or use the eBay Global Shipping Program, which is the last topic of this session, it's very important at least to understand or to know where my customers are coming from, what exactly they need. And also I can tell you that this is a cool feature to just explore, understand where you want to put your money at. So lately I discovered that one of my Shopify store, for example, I had a lot of customers coming from Peru, which was very exciting for me. So Peru was growing in my website by I think 70 or 80%, which is huge in comparison to the last month. And I know that now I can invest in these campaigns. I know that this is something that maybe I should approach to these customers in their own language, or give them like at least promotions that they can utilize.
Mm-hmm. Also, something else that you can do is, let's say you're selling internationally on ebay.com and you see that there's a lot of people that are buying from you from a place where there's a local eBay. It might be a good idea to say, okay, I have so many people there, why not open an eBay account in that location and sell to them? And then also you can see when you have this breakdown, let's say you know that, I don't know, Germany is a place where most of the people buy from specific items. You can go then to watchcount.com or any other analytics tool and see what is hot in this area of the world, whether it's the eBay in this zone or just people who are buying from there. And then you can actually take items and put in your store that people from this country want. Then you can do, there's a lot of things you can do with that. You can interlink without the description. You can put links to other items, like people like you know, in Amazon they have people also bought this. You can also put in your own description, people also bought this item, and this will be very, very specific for people from that country. Also, another thing you can do is, and it's something that I saw back in the day with a friend of mine who also was very successful with eBay, is they would put inside the image something in the language from the country that it is being bought from. For example, if it's a GPS device, and I know that people from Australia buy from me, I would put inside the image Australia maps included, for example. And this is all comes from the insight that you can gain, also from the PayPal insights that Mar just talked about. So it's something to think about.
Yeah, so it's a very cool tool, and if you haven't explored it yet, then you should try it.
Yeah.
And I think that one of the most important, and we just finished a session in regards to how people calculates like their profits per month. So Igal and me, we run a very big activity. We sell with many of eBay accounts, and we do quite large activities. So we started to break down all the profits that we create from the platforms that we sell on, and we try to see how other people think when they try to calculate their profits. And one of the conclusions that we encounter with is that many of the people don't exactly know how to calculate the fees, the invoices, and sometimes they don't explore or know about the way that PayPal provides them with the information. So I'm guessing, guys, that if you want to be professionals, if you want to understand better the data, you should explore the reports tab on PayPal. It should give you a lot of insights.
Yep. Okay, great. How about we move, because we talked a long time about eBay invoices and fees on PayPal, let's move to GSP. What is GSP? What are tips that you have regarding this? And basically talk about it from your experience.
Yeah, sure. So GSP, it's a short for eBay Global Shipping Program. So Global Shipping Program is a program that started, I think, 5 years ago or something like that. So eBay understood that there are many people around the world that want to purchase items from eBay, but they live in countries where the items doesn't ship to them because, as you know, probably many of the US suppliers, many of even Amazon, don't provide with a very competitive pricing for international shipping or doesn't ship at all. So eBay decided to engage with a company named Pitney Bowes. So Pitney Bowes is a very big company in the logistics field, and those guys, what they actually did, they started to integrate with eBay, and once you decide to opt in into the GSP program, automatically what will happen, your listing will actually be offered to people all around the world, and Pitney Bowes will be the ones that will actually do the delivery. So let's say that I'm a drop shipper and I'm selling items from Amazon, but I ship only to the USA, and I decided to opt in into the GSP, and I clicked that I want to ship items if I want to internationally using the GSP program. So what usually will happen, eBay automatically will apply to all of my listings shipping rates for all over the world, and that means that now my listing is available in Italy, Germany, or whatever place that Pitney Bowes can ship the item. Really depends on the category, by the way. But I'm guessing that that you are probably very confused on how exactly does Pitney Bowes know how to price the item. I mean, there are so many items out there. How Pitney Bowes exactly know how to price the items? So it's very easy for them because what they do, they take like the average weight of the item in this specific category, and they just price it. Now, even though it seems like a very good method and it's a very easy one because you can opt in and you just don't need to provide them with any details, but this is also something that is not good for us as dropshippers, because if we could provide them probably with the original weight and size of the package, then Pitney Bowes would probably price the items better, and that means that they can ship the item for a cheaper price. So a true story, and this is something that happened to me I think in the first days of Pitney Bowes. So I sold a Pulp Fiction, it's a movie. I sold a poster of Pulp Fiction, and someone from Italy told me, hey, listen, so your poster costs like $7, but the shipping to Italy is $150. Are you crazy? So I told them, hey, listen, I actually only ship it in the United States, and then eBay collects all the transition from the United States into Italy, so it doesn't depends on me. And when I discovered it, I started to explore it, and I came to a notice that when I'm putting like the shipping and weight on inside my listings, that drops the pricing to a very competitive price. So by the way, from $150 for shipping, they removed it to, they decreased it to something like $15. So just you will have sense on how important it is to really fill in the details about sizes and weight. This is one of them.
Yeah, and this is especially important for people who do bulk listings. When you have a big account and you put hundreds of items per day on your account, many of the items, it depends of course on the monitor you're using and also on Amazon if they have the details and if the monitor can match them, but many times they won't have either the dimensions or the weight of the item, or the weight is not translated good, so it's it's in pounds, it's in kilograms in the source, and in your place in eBay it's in pounds and stuff like that. So you'll find yourself in many cases having not optimized your international shipping price. And if you go, or maybe you have a virtual assistant who does that, go and see what is the actual weights and the dimensions of the items that you put. You'll be surprised how many of them you can really reduce the price. As Maur said, instead of like $100 and something to $15. Imagine if he had someone from Italy who would buy it for such a big price. How many sales could he make, and could you make, when all of your items are priced competitively for shipping? So this is a big one, and I think it's overlooked. Many people don't care about it, and they're missing. Because a global shipping program can add to your sales at least 10-15%, even more.
Exactly.
Even more.
This is what I was about to say, that you should expect at least 15% increase in your sales once you go with the eBay Global Shipping Program. So I'm guessing that if you still didn't opt into the Global Shipping Program, you should really think about it and do that. And also there are all kinds of services that are trying to imitate exactly what eBay does with the Global Shipping Program. One of them is, for example, HipShipper, which does a very good job. And actually, HipShipper is one of us, is one of the guys that actually doing dropshipping himself. So so I can tell you that he really understands the needs of a dropshipper, and they reduce the price, I think, very good and very nicely. They do a very great job, so you can check them out and at least understand what they do. But the thing that this is an action item for you guys, that if you didn't join the GSP, you should think about it, you should consider it and do it right now. I will try to give like another angle of view regarding this, because two things you should consider once you are trying to opt into the GSP. The first thing that you should know, that if you are someone that just started their way in the dropshipping world, maybe it's not the best time to opt in, at least until you will have, I don't know, at least more experience, or you know exactly what you do. And the second thing, and this is more a question to you, Yigal, is regarding returns. So what do you think about returns in the world of global shipping? Because I ship the item to United States address, and now the item finds himself in Italy.
So the thing is here, it is a problem. You can't really get over it really without any issues at all. But if you're working with Amazon, they have free returns to anywhere in the United States, on most items, on most cases, of course. However, if you're using something that's essentially a forwarding service like GSP, which gives you an address of their warehouse in the United States, and then they ship it to the customer, then if the customer wants to return the item or is not happy with the item, you're kind of in a problem, because they won't give you really too much support for returning the item, neither eBay nor the GSP, unless maybe there's a big change that I'm not aware of. Yeah, so that's how it is right now. So usually you have to mitigate the loss. You have to kind of negotiate with the person that you just purchased, that you just sold to. Are they willing to maybe accept a partial refund, or are they willing to have another maybe item shipped to them, maybe something similar and stuff like that? Because I don't think there's a really good way to make it free shipping or very low shipping when someone returns back from them to you. Now, one thing that I would suggest, and especially as Maur said, if you're just starting out but really want to try with the GSP, never do it with very heavy and expensive items. Because if they're heavy, the shipping back is very expensive, And if they're themselves expensive, then even if you negotiate with the buyer like 10 or 15% off because the item is not the color they like, let's say, it's a big loss for you. And maybe if your margin, if you like profit from this item $5, but you now have to pay them $20 back because it's an expensive item, it's like 4 items that you lost, four sales that you lost just for that, and a big headache. So I think that's a good idea to limit yourself to, let's say, up to $25 or $30 for your items for GSP.
Yeah, and I'm gonna give a very quick tip, and this is something that you should take from here. If you decided to opt into the GSP, the first question that they will ask you if you want to opt in with all of the items that you are currently selling. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing that you want to say that the answer for that is yes. Mm-hmm. But once you did that, that means that all the items, the expensive ones, the heavy ones, everything will be actually inside. GSP. Yeah. So what I normally did with my team, we created 2 eBay business policies. So one of them we call it with GSP, and the second one was without the GSP. So with GSP was actually items that are, let's say, above 50, and without GSP is less than 50.
Like the opposite, you mean? Like items that are cheap are with GSP?
Yeah.
Yeah, and expensive ones are without.
Yeah,
okay.
Exactly. So what we actually did, I filtered all the active listings, and I just moved like the expensive one to the without GSP, and the less expensive one, the ones that are less than $50, to the policy with the GSP. And this was actually working very well because, again, it was very easy for me to split my risks and at least be a partner in this program, which of course relates to more sales.
Mm-hmm.
So think about it as a tool for you guys to first understand if this is the right time for you to jump into the GSP program, and second, if you decided to do that, don't just use our words, just explore it, learn it a little bit, take a few of your items and create another business policy with GSP and move those items into the GSP and start to see how the traffic increases. Try to always measure things, and this is the real way to do it professionally. So I'm guessing that if you will take these tips, I think that at least in the last quarter of this year, which is supposed to be the strong quarter, you will probably see more sales, and it will help you a lot.
Absolutely. People, if in the United States, we have Christmas and stuff like that, people from all around the world start to think about, hey, I want to find something very cheap from United States or from eBay, and I'll buy in advance, so I don't care that it's international shipping, and they will start searching in eBay. It's all over the world. You'll see a global uptrend in using eBay, so that's a good way to utilize not only your US customers, but also all the potential of around the world of people viewing your items and purchasing.
Yeah, well, I'm guessing that this was more like educational,
technical,
or a technical one than a news one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was good, and I'm guessing that you guys at least have more knowledge or more tips. But this is more of the time for you to ask questions, because we are now opening the session for this for new questions from you guys. So feel free to ask anything. We should do our best to answer you guys.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, let's see meanwhile if we have something here. Okay, let's give about 30 seconds, 40 seconds for people to write in their questions. Meanwhile, we can just sit and relax or talk about stuff or have jokes. Yeah, so you know this thing about Shopify and eBay connection, I didn't know. That's that's a pro tip.
That's huge.
But is it just with eBay, not United States, or is it also for eBay.com?
I didn't try it in eBay United States. I tried it on eBay France, and I know that people said that they tried it in Germany and UK, and it worked as well. But I didn't try it in the US, so it's very interesting to try it just to see if it's working.
Yeah, and if any of you guys are curious and want to update us on that, that would be really awesome. That would be really nice if you can post the results in the group. All right, so I don't think we have any questions. Let me see again just to be sure. Yep. Okay. Awesome. So I think that would be a good time to end this live session. So Maur, I want to thank you very much. It was very nice.
Thank you.
It was very educating and technical stuff that's important. As always. Okay. So as always, we do this kind of live session once every week on Monday. Currently it's on 4 p.m. our time, so stay tuned. We have if we have a change, we'll tell you in advance. Again, if you, what about Shopify? So we talked about it. You can both in the couple of minutes now, but also somewhere in the middle regarding that if you connect Shopify to eBay, you get unlimited listings, so you can rewind back and see. So anyways, we'll see you in the next week on Monday. And if you have any questions and any ideas, give us some feedback, give us some even private messages, so for the next time will be discussing things that are important for you and that you are interested to learn about.
Okay guys, so it was a nice session, so see you next time. Bye.
Bye.